All right, guys, I couldn't even lie if I wanted to. Having a pair of Vortex binoculars are probably the most important tool in my arsenal. With that being said, I feel they're so important that I need to give away a pair. You want a pair of Vortex binos? We're gonna give them away. All you gotta do, like, subscribe, and comment. If you do that, you're entered in the giveaway. Simple as that. Don't be the guy that didn't like, subscribe, and comment on our channel, because guess what? Then you don't win. So get ready. The giveaway's coming. What's up, guys? Before we get into today's topic, which is a juicy one, so stick around for it. This is one thing that a lot of people screw up. Most people, I'm almost tempted to say all people screw up, including myself. I screwed this up for years. Not this year. I'm not going to let it get me. So before we get to that, we're booking clients right now. If you want to learn more about timber stand improvement, food plotting, how to kill big bucks on your property, how to get the deer off your neighbor's property, hit us up. Send us a message on social media. Go to the website, whitetaillandmanagementservices.com. Hit the contact tab. Send me an email. Let's get you on the calendar. We're going to book up this year. We book up every year. So before I do any promoting, I want to get the word out to you guys, because you guys are loyal subscribers and commenters and likers and all the good stuff. So if you want some help on your property, let us know. We're traveling anywhere from South Dakota to Ohio down to Tennessee and everywhere in between. So yes, get on the books. Other than that, code WLMSVTX10 at eurooptic.com, like European, eurooptic.com. We'll get you some money off some Vortex products, the optics. And then if you want to go to vortexoptics.com, different website, WLM20 will get you 20% off all the swag. And trust me, they got some cool stuff. Let's get into it. The dumbest thing that you can do as a hunter. Well, I'm going to be honest, there's a lot of dumb things, and I'm going to take this a little bit more in depth than some of the basic, concepts and the basic things that you can just do to screw up a property or do to educate a deer. Now, let's be honest, like, I could just sit in this video and say, don't pressure your property, don't do this, don't do that. The really basic stuff. We're not going to go into that today. You guys should know better. And if you don't, well, don't overpressure your property. Don't hunt the same stand 20 times. You got to keep these deer guessing. If somebody showed up in your bedroom every night and tried to kill you, well, you're probably going to change up your pattern too. So think about that easy stuff first before we get to this point. But the one thing that I want to talk about that I've screwed up for years, I think everybody screwed up for years once they find that target buck, they find those big bucks, is they think they got them pinned down. I don't know if it's maybe for a day or for a week, or you think you know exactly what he's doing. Well, you need to start planning as if you don't, because more than likely you don't. He's a wild animal. He doesn't even know what he's doing on a daily basis sometimes. Now, don't get me wrong. There are times of the year in which deer are much more predictable. That early to late season, time frame, yes, bed to food patterns, that's super easy. But the worst thing that you can do is think that you have a deer figured out. And there's something that you should do, are a couple things that you should definitely do to ensure that you do know more about the situation and that you can up your odds. But there's also some things that you should do even if you think you got this buck figured out. First of all, you need to come up with 2 to 3, maybe 4 backup plans when you go in that night to go kill that deer and it doesn't work. Because just because you think you have them figured out doesn't mean you do. Have a backup plan in your head so that you know how to strike second, the second time around, the third time around, the fourth time around, because more than likely you're not right that first time. So many years I've thought I've had bucks figured out, going out there and even jumping them out of their beds, figuring out where they're bedding, all these things. I'm like, oh, he's there. Well, guess what? He doesn't bed in one spot every single day. You got to have multiple plans so that when the first one fails, you don't, one, get mad at yourself and think, man, I screwed it up. He wasn't here. Maybe he was here and he just didn't come out. But always go in with multiple plans. These are mature deer for a reason. They're used to being hunted 365 by bears, by predators, by coyotes, by bobcats, all these different things. So if you go in there thinking that, you're overconfident and you got the perfect plan, you're probably shooting yourself in the foot more times than not, because these deer are smart for a reason. These mature bucks are smart for a reason. So go in with multiple plans so that you can, adapt and basically overcome the situation and kill these deer. Another thing that you should do to help put the odds in your favor prior to even getting to that point, it's one of those things where we can just say, he shows up in this field every night. He always kind of comes from back there, unless he's coming out on the same trail. Like, we just don't have things completely figured out. So how do you figure out where a buck is bedding? Go find where the buck is bedding. You're looking at me like, what? What do you mean? Go in there and push these deer and figure out, sneak your way into the bedding areas and physically bump these deer to see where they get up and out of. And I know some of you who don't use this strategy are thinking, why the heck would I ever do that? Now, there's a time and a place. Don't get me wrong. It's not made for every property. Public land or big properties, yeah, we can get away with this. Can you go and do it on 20 acres 5 times? No, you can't. But going in there and physically pushing the deer out of their beds to figure out that they are in that, in that location is the only way that you know, unless you have a trail camera of them bedded down or something like that. So a lot of you old school mindset, hunters are thinking right now, why would I ever go push the deer out? He's going to jump out of the country. It's situation dependent. If it's a high pressure area and that's the 5th time he's got bumped, yeah, he might not come back. But if it's the 1st and you're hunting states with a little bit lower pressure or areas with a little bit low pressure, I recommend it every time. That's how I killed my buck this year. We literally just scout until we figure out where the bucks are. We watch them get up, and some of those bucks showed up. If it wasn't the next day, the second day, they were right back in those beds, and I killed the deer, all because we use this strategy. But I get it. It seems counterintuitive, like you shouldn't go out there, or counterproductive, like you shouldn't be going out there and pushing deer if you want to kill deer. But ultimately, sitting on the fringes sometimes is educating those deer more. And you're worse off for it, because those deer get to you at nighttime and then they can smell where you were. You got to use that element of surprise. Go in there, jump in there where they're actually spending their time most of the day. Get close to those bedding areas, hunt the bed, the exit trail, the first scrape outside of the bedding area. Do all these things to ensure that you do know what the plan is. And even when you think you know what the plan is or what strategy or tactics you need to use to kill a deer, don't just do yourself a favor and think you're wrong, and have 2 to 3, maybe 4 more backup plans, because at the end of the day, guys, these are wild animals. These animals are hard to kill. They're mature for a reason, and they're being hunted 365 by predators, hunters, and all these other different things. So these deer are smart. Plan accordingly. So if you like these tips, you like these videos, you like free stuff, like, comment, subscribe to the videos. If you're doing that, you're always entered in our giveaways, and you get some free stuff most likely. So make sure you're doing that, guys. See you next video.